Welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Taking a look at your weather forecast this morning, a ridge of high pressure will maintain mostly pleasant weather conditions and moderate winds across the island chain today. Meanwhile, prefrontal activity will begin to affect the northern islands as a cold front moves off the Florida coast by late tonight. We'll get up to a high today of 86 degrees with an overnight low of 70 degrees. Well, let's take you out to our streets this morning where Lloyd Allen and the morning traffic team is standing by with your Wednesday traffic commute.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Off the top this Wednesday, the government expected to release its fiscal strategy report during the House of Assembly proceedings today. The Most Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, is expected to table that report, which will highlight the government's fiscal strategy over the next few years with a focus on securing economic resilience beyond the coronavirus pandemic. Plans for accelerating the country's economic recovery in the midst of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic will also be detailed. Florida has finished up its second day of administering the highly sought-after COVID-19 vaccine, marking what everyone hopes will be the beginning to the end of a months-long global health nightmare. This as the Bahamas, along with many other countries, wait, having made a deposit on its supply. With this in mind, Health Minister the Honorable Renwood Wells addressed the uptick in COVID-19 infections as anticipated increase the Prime Minister attributed to Bahamians traveling to the U.S. over the Thanksgiving holiday. Wells acknowledges that health officials are concerned about the possibility of a spike in new infections as restrictions ease.
We would have seen an increase in cases on the 9th and the 10th. On the 9th, we had 38 cases. On the 10th, we had 23 cases. Of the 38 cases on the 9th, 7 of those were from a freighter tanker that came into Grand Bahama with individuals who were not feeling well. They were swabbed, and incidentally, 7 of them tested positive. It was a crew of 25, so surveillance went ahead and tested the entire crew. On the 10th, 8 of those individuals ended up being positive. You would have seen over the weekend, we then had, I think we had 15 cases, then we had 16 cases, and now then we had 11 cases, and now we're down around yesterday, 8 cases. So we're monitoring it. We're looking at it. We did expect a slight uptick in the numbers from folks who would have gone away during Thanksgiving. Bahamians love to shop, in Florida, especially on Black Friday.
After seeing its doors closed for months, the British Colonial Hilton Hotel officially welcomed employees and guests back to their property on Tuesday. This as efforts are underway to jumpstart the country's tourism engine into high gear.
All the team members, we are very excited. This is our first day after being closed for months, and we are very thrilled to receive our first guest.
Feeling a lot optimistic, actually happy to be back to work and happy to see that we have people coming in. And it's been a rough couple of months, but I see that we're at the end of the tunnel and we can see the light now.
Now, while hotel officials are hoping to see an uptick in visitor arrivals in the coming months, they're also appealing to locals who may want to do something special for the holidays.
And we also have a day pass that is available for our locals. We have a special price and a room rate. If you're planning to celebrate your holidays, please come to the British Colonial Hilton.
Meantime, the Abaco Beach Resort and Boat Harbor Marina putting its downtime to good use. With no guests to meet and greet this past summer, the beachfront Marsh Harbor property has spent the past few months rebuilding following the extensive damage 2019's Hurricane Dorian left behind. The multi-million-dollar price tag was pegged between $22 and $25 million. That according to the resort's owner, Manny Alexio, who says the work had to be done within a short time.
Actually, we wanted to be open for May. And because of the pandemic, we had to slow down and slow down. Almost couldn't decide whether to close, but we didn't close. But we did a lot of overtime. I wear two hats. I'm the owner of the resort, but I'm also the owner of Sunco Builders, a construction company in Nassau. And so we were able to, as a team, move together quickly and didn't need the normal process that others would have to do, going out to architects and engineers and starting from scratch a planning process. We were able to jump in right away. Day 2, day 3, I was ordering piles for the marina, and we were able to move quite quickly.
Still on Abaco, an investment of $3.7 million poured into getting the Patrick Bethel School back into its former glory following Hurricane Dorian's severe beating on the structure last September. North Abaco MP Darren Henfield is convinced the school, which caters to between 600 and 800 youngsters, can be used as a blueprint for others throughout this country.
Many of our high schools were built in the 60s and 70s, and they're really in a state now where they need not refurbishment, but replacement. A lot of them, you hear the Minister of Works say that all the time, and the Minister of Education. We believe that the environment of this school, the way it's appointed now, is conducive for learning. It's conducive for kids to come in here in a safe environment. Of course, you can see we have the walls and the rest of it is fenced properly with security systems in place. But you know, our challenge is COVID. Our challenge is how do you bring them in here safely? And of course, the Minister of Education indicated that Abaco can operate a hybrid system where we have some kids online and portals and some kids in the classroom where we can safely place them.
As we continue our series on education this morning, we learn about efforts to get tablets in the hands of students and how Corporate Bahamas has chipped in. Here's Lloyd Allen.
Education remains the key to success. And with this understanding, Corporate Bahamas has continued its support with an array of devices and opportunities to assist the thousands affected. Minister Jeffrey Lloyd explains.
Of the 46,000 students in the public sector, that somewhere in a range of 15 to 20,000 would be in need of a device. And God bless Diane Phillips and a team from Leno Financial Services and others, Corporate Bahamas, who joined in with a campaign, No Child Left Behind.
Companies like Bamboo Shack, Bethel Brothers Funeral Home, Rotary Bahamas, BTC, and Alive have all helped at varying levels with the undertaking. Bringing efforts under a central point, the Leno Learning Link, operated by Leno Trust Limited, has helped companies both large and small to fill the void with additional devices. Managing Director Diane Bingham.
The Leno Foundation was founded by the Leno Group of companies sometime earlier this year, and with the mandate in mind that we focus on providing educational support by way of seeking funding for the schools in the Bahamas, and that's from the primary, secondary, and tertiary levels.
With these efforts ongoing, Lloyd explains available devices were first distributed to those in need at preschool and primary levels. This group, he says, accounts for around 29,000 students, many of whom were in need of technology assistance.
And then as devices became available, then we started with our junior high, then we started with our senior high. Don't forget, we also committed to providing devices for all of our educators, administrators, and teachers. And we had quite a number of those laptops available in stock, so we started to deliver those.
The minister admitted that the LMS experienced an overload on October 5th, resulting in a crash. He adds that the lesson has been learned and the goal of filling the tech divide is within reach.
Today, we are operating seamlessly. Hiccups here, hiccups there, but in each instance, we are working through them, and we are well on the way. We still have an issue with students who don't have devices and students who don't have internet access, because while donations are rolling in to the tune of some $300,000 now, because the target is $1 million, while we still have the donations rolling in, almost every week, 2 or 3 times a week, I'm receiving those donations and saying thank you to the various donors. We are very grateful for what is coming forward, and we expect that we are going to meet our goal very shortly.
Tomorrow, in our final installment of this series, the minister addresses differentiated learning, truancy, and gives the ministry its performance grade over the past term. For the morning edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. And still to come, the rehabilitation of the Offenders Committee considering application for expungement. That story and more when the morning edition continues. We now head on out to our Lloyd Allen in the Morning Edition traffic team for your Wednesday's traffic commute.
Good morning. We are giving you your first look at traffic today. Coming in from western New Providence, this is at the intersection of West Bay Street and Skyline Drive. If you are familiar with this area, you know that there is a slow flow of traffic coming out of the west. That's the eastbound lane heading into the downtown area. If you do need to utilize this route to get to your various destinations, you should be able to do so nice and smoothly without any hiccups. This morning we're also joined by Sergeant Cressinia Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, who's giving us an update on incidents over the past 24-hour period.
And a pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Over the 24-hour period, the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division investigated a total of 7 accidents. One of those accidents involved an overturned vehicle that occurred in the area of Minnie Street and Balfour Avenue. At this time, we still have 13 persons who remain hospitalized after being injured in a traffic accident.
Now, of course, Officer Johnson, one of those things that persons may see as they see us out here on camera and on television, of course, engaged in conversation. But today we're talking about when you're pulled over by police, having another kind of conversation. And so guide the viewing public, the motoring public, how does one engage with conversation with the police officer to avoid any hiccups?
Well, at the end of the day, the first thing I'm thinking about is professionalism. So whenever an officer approaches your vehicle based on whatever infraction, if it's an infraction under the Road Traffic Act, under the Road Traffic Regulation, we talked about behavioral offences, where, for example, you do not wear your seatbelt or you're driving in excess of the speed limit. But these infractions, once you beckon to stop, the officer is going to beckon to your vehicle using hand signals, using their siren lights, whatever it is. You want to pull your vehicle to the side of the street as soon as they beckon you to do so. And during that conversation, it's basically the officer ascertaining information to make sure that everything that falls in line that we spoke about yesterday with the fixed penalty notice, that they get that information to make sure that your matter is properly dealt with. So the conversation, as much as possible, keep it to the information that is required. You're going to be asked a series of questions, and as much as possible, provide those answers to the best of your knowledge. We ask, according to the Act, that you have your driver's license, your insurance, as well as the certificate of title for your vehicle. This calls for less questions to be asked. However, failing to give a police officer your correct name and address, or a name and address to which the officer believes is false, is an arrestable offense. So as much as possible, provide the correct information so they can get the job done.
All right, so some great information there. And of course, before we wrap up this morning, just reminding our viewers again, next week again is a big week here in the Morning Edition, specifically for the traffic team. We're going to be having several giveaways. So over the course of the next few days, be sure to tune into the social media platforms here in ZNS to find out where we're going to be next week. If you do happen to be one of those drivers while we're on live, just like this, you may be stopped and given a prize. Officer Johnson, any final words?
Yes, so as much as possible, we know this is the holiday season, so please be careful while you traverse the streets. Be vigilant, look around, be aware of your surroundings. Please do not put your gifts or anything of financial nature, of any value, on the car seat. Please secure those. You can secure those in your back trunks, in your car seat. Just don't have them. Don't make yourself that opportunity for that criminal element.
Remember, it's always about safe driving. For the Morning Edition, Lord Allen, ZNS Network News.
First-time offenders and young people under the age of 21 with criminal records being given a second chance to become productive members of this country. This as a Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee is considering applications for expungement. National Security Minister, the Honorable Marvin Dame, says every effort was made to make this a reality.
There are some persons already, and there's some amazing and really some, heartwarming stories of persons who would have been given a second chance and would have had their records expunged and are now working as productive citizens throughout this country. And that's what makes this all worthwhile.
A pioneer in children evangelism here in the Bahamas has died. Dr. Willamay Miller passed away peacefully in her home on Thursday, December 10th. She was 90 years old. Dr. Miller was an icon in the religious community and hosted the Children's Hour on the ZNS Radio Network for nearly 30 years. She's the mother of veteran journalist Daryl Miller, who reflected on his mother's life and legacy during an interview with the morning team just a few days after her passing.
I don't know where to begin. Her loss is just so great.
That's a speechless Daryl Miller reflecting on the void his mother's death has left not only on his close-knit family, but in the teaching profession and the religious community. He says his mother, Dr. Willamay Miller, was extremely passionate about teaching child evangelism in the public and private school sectors for years. And while his mother may be gone, Daryl insists her legacy will live on forever.
Child Evangelism Fellowship, teaching children about Jesus, continues. And my dear sister, I call her Ro, Eunice Roberta Miller Papal, has, I guess, along with others, taken up that mantle of CEF, Child Evangelism Fellowship, teaching teachers how to teach children about Jesus, and of course, teaching the children themselves.
Daryl says he owes his entire career to his mother and believes it's from her his talent originated. Dr. Willamay hosted the Children's Hour on ZNS Radio for nearly 3 decades and made an indelible mark on the lives of children here at home and around the world.
Every Saturday, like clockwork, children could tune in and learn about the greatest gift of all we have. And that, to me, that's amazing. I think I said, it's money. Of course, daddy too. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It's her. That's how we inherit. In fact, you had to know your times table backward under mommy. At 5 years old, tell 144, tell 11, 132, tell 10, 120, tell 9, 108, all the way backward down to twice 1 or 2. And every word in the pocket dictionary you had to be able to spell.
Daryl says he has been inundated with calls from Haiti, Jamaica, the United States, and as far away as the Middle East, offering words of comfort to the family. He says his mother was his best friend, his wake-up call every morning, a call he says he will truly miss.
My sister tells me that her last words before dying peacefully in her bed was, Ro, she called my sister Ro, Ro, you could go home now, 'cause I going home to be with your daddy. Y'all have to see me in heaven.
And to keep his mother's memory alive, Daryl says he plans to open a children's study center in her honor.
In the heart of the city, Minnie Street and Balfour Avenue, the Dr. Willamay Aunt May Miller Study Hall with free internet, free laptops, where the children can come and learn their lesson, do their homework, but more importantly, learn about Jesus.
A virtual memorial service for the late Dr. William A. Candace, Aunt May Miller, takes place at the Abundant Life Church later this month.
And when the morning edition continues, Christmas with the Kiwanis Club, so keep it locked.
Boxing in New Year's Day, yeah. I ain't gonna feel Christmas till I hear them drums. Give me that music, let me go have some fun. I ain't gonna feel Christmas till I hear them drums. Give me that music, let me go have some fun. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The Kiwanis Club of the Bahamas is all about giving back, and so it should be no surprise that they're doing something special for this holiday season. It will be aired right here on the ZNS Network this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. This morning, we are joined live by Division 22 Lieutenant Commander Dominic Bain. Dominic, welcome to the Morning Edition.
A very pleasant good morning.
So Dominic, talk to us a little bit about your initiative this year and what can Bahamians expect?
This year, we will be launching an initiative called Christmas with Kiwanis, Junkanoo Edition. And with this production, we will have various artists who will be performing a variety of Christmas music, and the event will climax with the Junkanoo Rush Out to close out the event.
And tell me just a little bit, how can Bahamians like myself participate in this event?
During the production, we will have avenues where persons would be able to make pledges and donations. They would also be able to make direct deposits to Kiwanis account so that they would be able to assist us with ongoing community service initiatives.
And there's also a mask decorating competition, right? Tell us about that.
Yes, there will be a mask decorating competition where we will be issuing masquerade mask. Persons would be able to decorate it with different tricks, feathers, and they will be able to enter the competition. There will be a grand prize of $300, which will include a variety of items. Persons can tune into our Kiwanis Clubs of the Bahamas Facebook page for more information regarding the mask decorating competition, which will be launched next week.
And I know Kiwanis is doing, I guess, this for Christmas and other things year-round. Talk to us a little bit about some of your upcoming plans for the organization.
Well, we just recently had a blood drive. One of our clubs will be implementing a food initiative program. We also have a back-to-school event that will be planned next year. We will be distributing gift baskets to persons at the maternity ward, things of that nature. There's a lot of ongoing projects that are implemented by the Kiwanis Clubs. One of the other things that we're considering is a $30,000 scholarship to different individuals throughout the community. And we also want to explore the possibility of getting prosthetics for individuals so that we can put them back on their feet again.
And your outlook for 2021?
Membership growth, education, bringing on new members to our organization so that we would be able to continue to give back and make meaningful and valuable contributions to our society.
Dominic Bain, thank you so much for joining us here on the Morning Edition, and best of luck to you in Kiwanis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The Bahamas Feeding Network is partnering with Sandals, Emerald Bay, and the Bahamas Striping Group of companies to provide 500 hot meals for the residents of Exuma on Christmas Day. Chairman of the Bahamas Feeding Network, Felix Stubbs, says Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19 has made it difficult for families to put meals on the table, and the Feeding Network's mission is to address hunger. The organization's executive director, Philip Smith, says he welcomes the partnership, adding that they recently received a donation of 5,000 turkeys, some of which will be distributed on Exuma.
We're always very grateful when corporate citizens step to the plate to assist in the feeding programs. Bahamas Striping is one of those corporate citizens that is always addressing the needs of the community. And when they ask us to assist them in this program, we were delighted because it meets the things that we're doing in terms of feeding people, but it also meets a significant requirement, people who are going hungry, especially at Christmas time.
It's an absolute pleasure to finally connect with them and carry out this partnership in Exuma. And I think it would be the beginning of a wonderful partnership going forward. And I think there are these types of partnerships that I believe will do wonders in eradicating hunger in our country.
If you're going for a Christmas card does the trick in spreading love, joy, and good wishes during the holiday season. While some are sparkly and bright with warm messages, there are those that provide a little humor. And who doesn't need that in this COVID environment, right? Well, Sonia Farmer, a Bahamian card designer, handicrafted a Christmas card collection that should put you in a jolly mood.
Thinking about the holiday cards for COVID, I started with turning Christmas carols into COVID carols, I'm calling them. So I have some cards that say, "Baby, it's COVID outside," rocking around the Christmas tree at a distance of 6 feet, deck the halls with some hand sanitizers. And then I have a really popular card that's the 2020 Days of Christmas, where I'm changing out all of the 12 days of Christmas with something from this year. So
For those unable to give this Christmas, the New Year's line is a perfect gift to start the year.
There's truly something for everybody. And then I also have a line of New Year's cards because I think a lot of people are really excited to see 2020 end. So I have hindsight is 2020, foresight is 2021. That's one of the messages. Happy New Year and good riddance, things like that.
And that's a wrap for us this morning. For the entire team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day, everyone.